Hello everyone. So today we'll talk about retrofit. So what is actually retrofit? So the retrofit is the library that has been used by a lot of developer for parsing the JSON. Okay. So let me show you some example of it. Nowadays this is the most popular framework or library for parsing JSON. Still there is the volley and async, though I'm not really fond of volley, but I'm really fond of the loopsy async. So I'll create a video on the async, and in this video I'll only talk about the retrofit. So let's see what is the retrofit and why people are using this. So one of the most uh, very very common reason for using the retrofit as the library as the parsing library, because uh, that is actually a a combination of a lot of library like json. It's not a json, it's a json. Okay, I'll show you all of them. So first I'm gonna go for the retrofit. So now this people are using the retrofit tool, and that is from the Square, and it's an open source thing, so you don't have to worry about. It's not gonna shut down very quick. So this is all the retrofit about the documentation, so you can see and you can understand if you want. Okay, yeah. So this is the retrofit thing. That's great. And now retrofit comes with a lot of um, different library like json, jackson, something like that. So now I'll show you how you can parse a json using retrofit. So the first thing you do need is several build dependencies. In this case, uh, these are the dependencies that you need for using retrofit. Actually, this is the only dependency that you need for using only the retrofit library, but retrofit does have a connection with the json parsing. So this is the json. It actually is a what I can it will it's a way that actually handles the JSON's pojo file or something like that. So that actually helps a lot. So I'll show you what is the JSON actually is. So don't worry, and there is a retrofit to JSON converter. So these are the libraries that you need, or the dependencies that you need to have on your build.gradle file. And there is another dependency that you have in here, but okay. So okay, I will talk about that later, so don't worry about that. So the first thing that we need for parsing a JSON is a API. So in this case I will use openweathermap.org, and from here, for getting the API, you have to first sign in. In my case, I have signed in, so I don't think okay, so I have to know. That's great. So you can see I'm already signed in, and when you are signed in, you get an API key. So in here, this is my API key. So okay, that's great, isn't it? Yes, it is. So if you get the API key, then you can just go ahead for the API documentation. And from here, so how to get it started, this is a very good way you can go with. And this is same for pretty much every single API that you need. So all of the API must have a API key, so that's why I'm showing you first the API key, and sometimes that is also known as app ID. That's why they have told that. So this is also app ID. So okay, so the first thing that you need is a way how you can parse, so you need a URL. So in this case, for parsing a JSON, I will recommend you to use an app that is known as Arc. So if you go and press on Arc, okay, so this is my Arc page, and from here you can call for any JSON URL, or you can actually get the JSON data by you from the JSON URL. So that's great. Okay, I'll get back, and okay, I will just use this URL. So though this is a example API, so I don't have any problem with that. So the only thing you can see in here, they are telling us from this description that in this API URL there is actually two parameters. So how do I know there is two parameters? Okay, so you can see the what sign right in here. So after that there is ID, so this is the first parameter, and that has the value of 524901. And as well as you can see there is an AND operator, that means there is another parameter, and in here the parameter is app ID. So the last parameter would be the app ID. For every single URL you have to add the last parameter. So just go ahead. Okay, so I have just I need to copy that. So what you okay, I'll use this. Okay, copy. I'm copying that and paste it right here. And yeah, that's great. So this is a very good thing. So you can say I have put only the URL, and from the URL that has defined or that has identified, so which are what is the host, what is the path, and what is the parameter. So in this case we got the first parameter, and but we don't have the app ID yet, and I have to put that right in here. So in that case I have to just go here, API, not actually the API, I need to go to sign in. Okay, I'm sorry for that. I need to go yeah, I am signing. Yes, I know that. And I have to just copy the app ID or the API key that I have from here, and just copy that, and that's it. You have to just press send, and that will take you, or that will give you the value. So you can see I have the 200. Okay, 200, that means 200, that means the right sign, that is, there is everything okay, so nothing wrong is in here. So that's great. And you can see, so this is the JSON file that we have from here, and you can see there that is hard to understand from here. So what we can do, we can just press right in here, and I hope, yeah, okay, so that makes these things really bad. So this is really hard to understand from here because there is a lot of value right there, and actually you don't have to understand the JSON file. Okay, I will give you okay, no, not that. So I'll let you know how to do it. I need to first copy this thing again. Yes, so this is the value, so I have to copy that, and from here what I will prefer to go in, and I will give you the link, so don't worry. So there is the website that is known as JSON schema to pojo. So if you don't know about the pojo, so pojo is a type of schema that actually convert the JSON file into a real Java file. So that's great. So you don't have to write a lot of code for creating the model class. Everything will be created automatically. So that's great. So you can just go ahead and press the Control V, and that's all you have to do. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I like that. And from here, what you can do, you can just go ahead for the JSON, and you have to select the source. So the source I have, okay, the first The target language I need is the Java. The source type, okay, the source is JSON, and the annotation style. So what is the annotation style do we gonna use? So we're gonna use the JSON, not the Jackson 2, not the Jackson. So Jackson 2 is the most popular one, you can see right in here, but nowadays I have found that the JSON is the most popular one right at this time, and that's why I am going with the JSON. There is still, you can use any of them as you want, and you can use the generate the builder method if you want, and as well as you can create the getter and setter and the constructor and the toString as you want. Okay, so let's see how our code will be. So you can see from the JSON we can't really identify anything at all, but now we can see we have the class that would be known as city, and there is some variable like ID, name, coordination, and country. There is a 4 variable right in here, and after that you can see okay, I'll explain all of them one by one. The first is the serialized name. So why we are saying this serialized name? Because we're using just JSON. Okay, sir, sorry, JSON. Okay, my mistake. As we are using the JSON, we have to use this annotation, the serialized name. So what that actually does is really makes a relation between the parameters to the engines or whatever you can say. Okay, so you don't have to know about all of that, so you have to just you can, okay, just know it about that you have to use the serialize blah 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 everything. So you can see in here we have the city. From the city we can get the ID, name, coordination, and the country, and as well as we have the it's like clouds, and we have the coordinates, the maps coordinate if you don't know about the coordinate, and this is the main response class that will handle everything. So this is all about knowing you that so there is a way you can go and create the pojo. So you can just play with that, and that's great. So I hope you have understand a lot of things from here, and now we will jump to our main app. So the first thing that I'm going to discuss today is the model. So we are going to create a model class, the model classes that actually will hold the place for the JSON objects or the JSON data. So that's why, so there is a plugin that I have found that is really good, and the plugin is I hope I forgot the name. Okay, I have to just select the pojo right there. Okay, so a lot of things are right there, so you can just go with any of them, but I have found JSON to pojo is one of the best thing I got right there, because that really support the builder pattern, and I am very fond of builder, so that's great. So for getting the for getting the model classes, what you have to do, you have to first create a model package like that, and from that you have to just press write and new, and if you just added the plugin, then after restarting your Android Studio, you'll find this option, generate pojos from the JSON, and just click on that, and from here you can see there is two things. The first thing is the class name that you are this is the root class, actually the root class name. So the model, there would be multiple model, or there can be a single model also. So that's why every model classes will hold to a root, so we have to give the root class. So sometimes we often give this we often give them a suffix like a response. For example, if as we are using the weather, we'll go for the weather response. Okay, so this is the standard to write the root class name. Any name you want, then just add the suffix response. So this is not the mandatory, you can just play with any of them, but this is the right way to do with the retrofit. if you are already familiar with other libraries like the loop.json, you will you will you already know that all of them will hold a client for for getting the JSON, or for making the connection to the database. There is a client and the server is a server. So that is almost like that. So for the isolation of this package, I have just created another class, isolated the retrofit. I have created a class, the API client, and in here I have putted the base URL. So what is the base URL? You can see right in here. Okay, yeah, you can see. So the host is also known as the base URL. So the base URL, and then I have created an instance of retrofit, and I have created a static method, and what actually does, it is making almost like a almost like a singleton object of the retrofit. And you can see the way of creating the object is really so much easy. And just new retrofit.builder.base URL, you have to put the base URL, and then as we are using the JSON and JSON, we have to use the JSON converter factory.create as the converter factory, and then build. That's all we have to do for creating the API client. And if you are done writing here, you will be happy to know that we have completed our first part of the retrofit. And now it's time to jump for the second part of the retrofit. So in the API, you know that APIs have a lot of actually the 4 type of method call: the get, post, put, delayed, and sometimes they have also patch, add, blah 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 blah. But the basic thing is the get, post, delayed, and put. So retrofit handles these functionalities with some very powerful, what can I told you, powerful abstract method. Yeah, you can say that, abstract method. So for that we have to create a interface first, any name as you want, but I always give that name like API services. So let's go ahead, and from here, okay, let me just make it a little bit fresh. So you can see the first thing is the annotation. So if the call of your app is get, so you have to just give the annotation get. So if your method is post, then you have to just create the post. So that's all. So I hope you understand that how to use that. And you can see in our archive, the first thing, the base URL or the host, we have already done with that. But on the next, we have the path. So every URL has these 3 parts: the host or the base URL, the path, and the query parameters. Okay. Great. So you have to put the path right in here, and that makes the retrofit the most powerful and the most easiest way to get the data from the server. So I'm really fond of this thing. Great. And after that, the retrofit does have this awesome return type that is known as call. And so this is a return type. You can see actually this is a class, you know that. So retrofit has a class that we use as our return type, and that hold a generic. And you can see in here I have pushed the London. So why I have pushed the London right in here? Because London is the pojo response we have created. Okay, so I hope I should change that. I'm sorry for that. I'll change that into response. That will make sense. Long-term response. That's great. Not that. I don't need that. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. So you can see. So this is the response type. So this is the way of Retrofit. They have created a very good return type call, and that have to pass the response model we have created for our models classes. So I have put it the London response from right there, and then you can get any name as you want, a method name as usually, any name as you want. So in my case, I'll get that as get weather details. And after all of that, for this URL, okay, I'll show the thing I am using in here. Okay, no. Okay. Invalid API key, so no, that not should be done right here. Oh, there a problem right here? Unauthorized, so it is creating a problem. I don't know why. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, okay. My mistake, because yes, that has two parameter. So it is the same thing. Oh my shit, my shit. Yes, my shit. Okay. So in this method, what I have done, that's my mistake. I have passed this parameter as in the URL. As you know, if we don't want to pass the pass the different parameter, or the if you get the parameter, okay, this is static, then you don't have to create a parameter for that. You can just pass it through your URL. So in this case, my ID is static because my city is not changing. So that's why I have a static ID, and that's it. And that doesn't make any problem for me. And so I have passed the first parameter through the URL, and I have passed the second parameter, all right, like that. So as this is the query parameter, the query, and this thing should be same. So app ID, a double p ID, so they are case sensitive, so you have to take care of that. So they are the case sensitive thing. So app ID, and this is the variable that we'll use as the parameter for this method, and these are the thing would be used for the retrofit. Okay, that's great. Now if you want to know about details, uh, if you want to know in detail about these methods, I'll tell you to just have a look on these documents. They are awesome, totally awesome. So the reason hand the retrofit, so using the retrofit you will generate the following URL. Okay, so blah blah blah. So you can see I have put several examples for the way you can use that. So sometime you will get some sort of URL that has this type of slash notation. So in this case, you have to put the path. Okay, so on that case, what actually it does, it actually pass the URL dynamically, and in that case the URL need to be get some type of like that. Okay, you will get that, and that's great. I don't think you will get any problem. So if you have a header, you have to pass a header like that, blah 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 blah. That's all about this API services classes, and this is the time for doing the call. So we are ready with everything. Now we'll just call for the data. The first thing I have done in here, I need the API key. As you know, without the API key I can't really call, so I have the API key, and now I'm calling for the weather API service. So this is the interface actually, so the weather API interface, and I'm calling for the my API client class. As you know, the get client is a static class. You can see the get class is a get client is a static class, so I don't have to create any object for that, and then just dot create and weather API service dot classes, the interface that you need to be passed. So this is the way you need to you have to make an object of the services, then just make the call like that, as well as on the same way you have to press the long-term response or the model root class, the weather API service that gets weather data. So in here you have to pass the parameter values. So now it's time we are calling the methods. So get weather details methods parameter is passing from here. So I am passing API key blah 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 in this method, and that will give me a call response or call long-term response value. So you can see I'm storing the call response in the call response variable. So that's great. So as we have the values in the London call, now we are encoding the data. So London call dot enqueries and the callback response. Then again I have to put the response variable right in here, and after that just on resume on the on response. Okay, if you just, so they are the auto created methods, so you don't have to just create them by yourself, they are auto created. And in here we have the response and the call, we will only go with the response. So now we are done with everything. So this is the success thing. On response, that means the on success, and on failure, that means the on failure. So on the on success, we are getting everything that we need. So we are calling for the response and the body, so that will get us to the to the actual result, and then I can call for anything that I want from here. So in here I'll first go for the, okay, I'm gonna show you. So on the London response you can see I have the get code method, you can see. So if you just press the body, if you just go with the body, then you will get the access of get code, get clouds, get main, get sys, get weather, get wind, every class that you have you can just access right here. And after that, and in the code you can see, in the code I have some other gets like get latitude and the get longitude, sorry. So you can just get the get longitude, and then if you want to cast that into a string, just cast that. So that's all about the retrofit, and I hope you have understand about the retrofit. If you don't, you can ask me to make a detailed video of retrofit. On the next video I hope I will create a retrofit with a recycler video. So till then, be happy. Goodbye.